Bean tree. Bean tree.
The person climbing that tree is my partner, Eleanor. Eleanor is an avid bin store enjoyer, collects Shrek memorabilia in their free time, and in general is probably just the most adventurous person I know. We've been dating for a while now, and the only reason that I'm sharing this information that I otherwise probably wouldn't be sharing is because this footage is the final day of a 6-day long adventure that I had with them. Now that you have that context, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, let's start the video. Hello everybody, my name is Dylan, and I hope you are doing so well. I guess this is like a whole ass sequel to the Denver video, only this time my outfit isn't actually atrocious. Who let me dress like this? St. Louis, being the only big city that I lived somewhat close to when I was a kid, holds a special place in my heart. And despite what the news outlets try to say, it's a beautiful city. When I learned that my favorite band was going to tour there, I knew that I really wanted to see them. AJR is one of those bands that you either really like or you really hate. I went to the Maybe Man tour last year in Des Moines with my family, and oh my gosh, guys, it was gorgeous. Plus, St. Louis has so many free and inexpensive things to do, so there would be plenty of opportunity to just dick around. On top of that, my grandparents live in the city, and I've been meaning to make my way down there to go visit them anyway. So I acquired tickets, made an itinerary, and lastly, I invited Eleanor to come with me because we hadn't actually been on a road trip together at that point. Let's freaking start this thing. I'm very hesitant to say that I think Iowa sucks because I'm stuck here for college and I really don't want to piss off the people I'm going to have to be around for the next few years. Saying that, I think even Iowans know that Iowa sucks. The water is toxic, Kim Reynolds exists, and these roads, man. Not just in quality, but look around, there's nothing out here. It is flatlands, soybeans, and the occasional smokestack. We stopped in southern Iowa for lunch. Burger King, I know, we're real classy. And afterwards, I took over driving because I was very excited to start recognizing the road that we were driving on. Not that it's much better, but eventually we made it to my home state, Missouri. And I'll level with you, day one really was mostly just driving. But we did make one stop. Hannibal, motherfucking Missouri, baby, let's go. Y'all, I love Hannibal. But we didn't want to waste too much time, so we didn't stop for very long. We did, however, gas up, stop at Java Jive, my favorite coffee shop, and finally, we were called to the river by carnival music? Oh shit, it's the riverboat, guys. I love the riverboat. I've never been on it. I can't swim, I'll drown. But I like the riverboat. 10 out of 10 vibes for downtown Hannibal. The Mississippi is pretty. Here's a poster I made about this place for one of my classes last semester. Turtle man.
How do I look, yellow man?
After I made a wrong turn, I had a mini anxiety attack because the drive was starting to get to me a little bit. But that's okay because Eleanor kept me company and we just kept chatting, having the best time. I'm very thankful for them. Finally, after about 6 or 7 hours, we made it to the St. Louis area. And oh my gosh, guys, look at this footage. I absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. We didn't take much in the way of video after this on day one, but we did arrive at my grandparents, eat at a not that great Freddy's steak burger, and finally, we spent the rest of the night visiting. Day 2, y'all, we got the budget for another Carys appearance. That's pretty fantastic. I'm going to go broke. The Delmar Loop is an older neighborhood northwest of Forest Park with lots of little shops and thrift stores, and I usually try to go once every time I'm in St. Louis. We got ourselves parked in a free lot nearby, and we went to this cute record store which featured such prominent artists as Wargasm, Mannequin Pussy, and AIDS Wolf, which is conveniently placed next to Christina Aguilera. After that, we went to a thrift store and found sunglasses. It's a video. Look how cutie we look. Look at all these photos. These ones look like Chewbacca. After an hour and a half in there, we bought these corduroys and this Goosebumps crew neck because it was just so swaggy, dude. Fuck. We stopped in a cool grocery store, ate at this killer burger joint, and finally, we decided it was time for a freaking St. Louis staple.
It's Eleanor. It's Eleanor. No last name.
No last name?
We're at the freaking arch, bro. Ah!
Guys, it's the Arch from the hit Percy Jackson book and also that one Superman poster.
It's a pretty long walk, but it's...
Oh, it's gorgeous though. It's worth it.
Like, this is literally surrounded by skyscrapers too. So pretty. We took some stellar photos, look how cool we are, and made our way around to head into the museum underneath when we saw an absolute treat for a small town hick like myself. They had to incinerate Eleanor's pepper spray because even though, yes, the arch grounds are small and in the city, it still is federal land and a national park.
This is beautiful. Here, I'm trying not to be like gross, but I'm trying to like show them what you're doing. You're elf. You are the elf.
The museum was actually really cool, but we unfortunately got there close to when they closed, so we just kind of had to speed through everything.
Are you the Santa Claus?
I might have to put on flash.
Hi.
After the arch, we got some boba, went thrifting at this cute store.
It's peak, man. Bro's freaking pulling up this fucking... Pardon me, that's amazing, dude.
And finally, we ended the night out at Target's. This little fucking blue thing had it coming. Hey guys, this is editor Dylan. I realized I never actually properly gave Carys an outro, which, whoops, that's on me. So everyone just say goodbye, Carys, in the comments if you don't mind. I mean, comment more, please, but you know, I feel bad. Sorry, Carys. Anyway, back to the video. City Museum is a playhouse of sorts located in downtown St. Louis and is based out of an old shoe factory. Now, I acknowledge that this sounds a tad strange, but genuinely, if you went here as a kid, you had a freaking blast. It's basically a jungle gym on steroids, with an underground cave system, an outdoor area where you can climb up into airplanes, and has a school bus literally hanging off the roof. Eleanor and I woke up that morning with 2 missions. Go to the City Museum and get back in time to cook my grandparents some supper. I don't know if y'all heard that on camera, but someone out there has a really big dick. We started the day off bright and early with some city sights and a very careful walk downtown.
That's crazy. Crazy.
We bought our tickets and headed towards the caves, where I remember that I'm a lot bigger than I was when I was a kid.
I am lightly claustrophobic. Lightly, it's okay.
I personally have just the utmost confidence that that guy in that clip right there is having so much fun. Eleanor saw that there was a 7-story tall slide and he was determined that he was going to go down it. He now had his own mission. Now, it's here where I want to let you know real quick, by the way, that there are many clips from this day that either will be heavily censored or just not going to be shown at all. Because though this place is advertised as it's for everyone, there were a lot of kids around us that day, and the internet is full of some really fucking gross people. And speaking of gross things, the cafe was filthy, and that flatbread tasted like ass. I was really excited when we headed outside though, because I really wanted to climb up into that airplane. We walked across the bridges going around the area for a bit and traveled up and down a couple stone castles until finally...
We are freaking gonna die up here, I think.
It was so cool, guys. Here's a couple images of us in the cockpit.
Me when... Oh, sorry. Me when you...
It was like a bajillion degrees out there, so after we finished climbing around, we headed to the indoor aquarium.
I like that one.
That one? That one. Bro, he's just like chunky, dude. He's just a big guy.
I drove a boat, we saw an axolotl.
That's so cool. I've never seen the black ones either.
And the further we went in, I saw more cool things like this little guy. What if I just went in there? This guy tried, and he seems to be having a great time. I am just saying.
Should I be jealous? Should I? Oh shit. Oh damn.
After making our way through a couple more floors, we finally reached the top where we saw the entrance to the slide. Eleanor said their final goodbye, and I watched them get in line. As I walked away and told them I loved them, that was the last time I ever saw him again. Nah, I'm just fucking with ya. City Museum was absolutely fantastic, but y'all, we were whooped. We went to Aldi, and we headed back to my grandparents where we made them supper. Full of burgers and with aching bones, we spent the rest of the night relaxing. This day was just the best, guys. Eleanor and I slept in on my Papa and Gigi's couch. Thank God, we really needed it. But I woke up in excitement that my mom, brother, and sister were all coming up today. If I recall right, we spent most of the morning hanging out in my grandparents' pool because we were oh so tired from yesterday. Once they got there, we went to lunch and played Wii Sports at my cousin's house until it was time to go. My mom, siblings, partner, and I piled up into the car, and we took the I-70 to the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Which, fun fact by the way, was the scariest drive that I had ever been on at that point, especially on the way back. People do not mess around on that interstate. We readied up for the show by listening to music that I will not be playing for you. I will be DMCA'd to hell and back. We got there, found a spot in the grass, and got up to go buy some merch and food. I also want to mention that Eleanor and I were matching for the show. Look how cutie we are. When finally we hit the 4 openers. Madeline May was first, and he was actually so good, guys. Like, I definitely understand that his music was not for everyone, but it was a level of weird that I really vibed with. Valley performed afterwards, and though I don't necessarily think that all of their songs were bangers, I really liked the song Bop Ba. Valley released a live version to Spotify, I Beg You. Lawrence played afterwards, and guys, they get so much flack online. I don't even care, they were fantastic. They sang so well, and they were all so pretty. Last up was Quinn 92, and I'll admit, it just wasn't really my cup of tea. He still did a great job though, I will say, it just wasn't for me. There was a big gap of wait time after this because it was storming very hard across the river, and there was some uncertainty if AJR would even come out today. Would have been a huge bummer, right, into the video. In our wait, however, I did get to participate in Hot to Go, and that was honestly probably one of the highlights of the entire night. Finally though, after some typical AJR text on screen, 2 of those 3 skinny New Yorkers I really like finally came out onto the stage. Adam was gone for some work on his book, and I really thought this was going to mess with the vibe of the show, but they did a really good job of keeping the stage busy, so I never even really noticed. Regardless, the show they put on was fantastic. They played some of the new stuff, some old hits that they haven't performed in actual years. They even had a little part like the Maybe Man tour where they snuck into the audience to perform. Carys? Is that fucking Carys on that screen up? That's so freaking cool, dude. What are the odds? They ended the show by getting several high school marching bands from the St. Louis area out on stage to perform an AJR medley with them. 10 out of 10 show. I think my family had a lot of fun. I want Adam to come back with the milk. Adam, please come back. The kids miss you. My mom and siblings stayed the night so we could go to the zoo as a family the next day. We figured it would be something fun and low stress because though last night was a blast, it was still very draining. Also, the St. Louis Zoo is big and free, and I feel like people need to take note of that. There isn't really much else I can say about the zoo. It's a bunch of cool animals, so I'm opting to do a montage instead. Guys, enjoy the freaking zoo. You guys are still enjoying the zoo? Come on, it's almost time to go. It's gonna close soon. Let's go. Hi, Editor Dylan here. So I skimmed over the hat, but I'm looking back at it, and I really wish I'd gotten that hat. I thought about it, and I just didn't do it.
And oh, it's cool, right? It looks good, right? Like leave a comment if you like the hat, and yeah.
My family went home and we ended the day out on my grandparents' couch just chilling. There was a lot of driving for us to do tomorrow, so we decided to rest up in great anticipation. See y'all on day 6. The final day was really chill. My Gigi and aunt took my cousin Eleanor and I to Pantera's, a restaurant that Eleanor describes as the middest pizza buffet that you can possibly imagine. With that said, it went unnecessarily hard, and my Gigi allegedly snuck breadsticks out in her purse for Eleanor to take on the ride home. She was very proud of that. On the drive back to my grandparents, I took the most American video I've ever taken, and after a very Midwestern goodbye, Eleanor and I packed up and made our way back towards Iowa. We took a very long route to stop by my house back home, that way we could eat dinner with my uncles, mom, and Harley. We also stopped at my sister's house where we discovered Bean Tree. Admittedly, the drive down was very rocky because naturally, I'm just a very panicky person. But the drive back home, fantastic. Eleanor and I just yapped. We talked about our lives, our hopes, our dreams. It was just a lovely time, and it set a wonderful precedent. This was our first road trip together, after all, and it made me excited for, hopefully, the many more we would have to look forward to. Finally, after several more hours, we at long last made it back home. And that's the end of our first road trip. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all very much and your patience. I always feel bad asking, but if you enjoyed the video, please genuinely like, subscribe, comment, share it if you can. Literally any of these interactions will help me in the long run. Finally, to quote my friend Carys, I hate the zoo and I'm going to explode the lion exhibit. Bye. It's a joke, I promise.